So it's not about deductive reasoning, it's about incremental learning. You adapt it, you use the adaptation to the environment or surrounding you. And Mintzberg metaphor about pottery maker in HBR, he wrote an article about that. To him, strategy making is actually more emergent and you have to respond to the situation happening surrounding you. So the intellectual rule is management cognition theory and behavioral science theory. And actually this case, I believe some of you must be very familiar with this case, the Honda effect. And it's about the story. Honda, they introduced their motorcycle, the Super Cub, in California in the 70s. And then they have a huge success of this model introduction. And then so people like BCG Consulting Group, their consultant try to make sense of the event, and Pascal, a researcher, try to make sense as well. So in BCG's report, actually they try to depict, well, Japanese managers were so smart, and everything was planned very well. So their success is the deliberation of their strategy. So they want to argue that the Japanese manager actually is quite different from the American manager and British manager, because this report actually is written for the British motorcycle industry. So to them, there's strategy is not about emergence, it's about deliberate planning. But Pascal, this researcher, were not convinced by this report. So he go to Honda's executive and do some interview with the first line manager of Honda in California. And actually those managers admit to Pascal that there's no deliberate strategy in their introduction of the Super Cub. Actually there's some sheer luck and incremental learning in that. Because when they went to California, they have limited budget, and so that they have to use their Super Cub in their day-to-day practice between the sales place to other sales place. What they want to introduce is a heavy model of the motorcycle. They do not want to introduce a Super Cub, which is a very light model of the motorcycle. So this case, or this research actually showed that in Honda's case, there's no deliberate strategy. All is about luck, incremental learning, or chancy event, because some Americans saw their salesperson, Honda salesperson, using Super Cub in San Francisco, and they are very interested in that model. So sales at Sears, they try to call Honda and ask them to give them some Super Cub to sell. So this is when they first found, well, Americans, although they all prefer bigger thing, probably they'll like the small thing like Super Cub as well. So this is a very unique contrast between BCG's version and Pascal's version. So in the left-hand side, luck is more like a marginal factor. So you should be able to foresee everything, and luck is not really relevant to strategizing process. But in here, in the behavioral side, chancy events are maybe the dominant factor, and luck may be an influential factor as well. But this is just a general picture of the role of luck in strategy. So we still know relatively little about what exactly is the role of luck in strategy, because in those journal articles, people use luck all the time, but sometimes they make very different things. So I try to show later, I want to show seven idiosyncratic images of luck in strategizing. But before that, I'm going to show what are the definition of the perspective of luck from philosopher and later from strategists. So of course, when we talk about philosophy, we have to go back to the game of three in Greek. So Aristotle actually in his books, he talked about luck. What is luck? So to Aristotle, luck is independent of reasoning. You cannot use your rationality or reasoning to analyze something relevant to luck. So to Aristotle, luck is maybe something pre-rational. It's about your intuition, it's about your instinct, or it's about super-rational. You cannot analyze that by rationality. It's about deity or the will of God or something. So to Aristotle, luck is either pre-rational or super-rational idea or impulse. And to Nicholas Rascher, actually is a very famous philosopher in University of Pittsburgh. He wrote a book about luck. The title is Luck. The Brilliant Randomness of Everyday Life. It's a very readable book. I introduce if you are interested in this idea. This is a must-read book. So to him, actually, he linked the concept of luck with unforeseeability. So whatever you cannot foresee, that is about luck. If it is beyond your rational expectation and it has a significant impact to you, then you may consider reasonable to use luck to make sense of the event. So to him, his quote is luck the residual of rational expectation.